Alright, welcome year 10s to, I think it's Friday now. Nice, nearly the weekend. So I need to change the date, that would help. Because it's now the 1st of the 10th. So it's the 1st of the 10th, it's now September, October, nice. Right then, so today your title is Worded Problems. Alright, Worded Problems. We're going to try and incorporate some of the stuff we've already done into mathematical, real-life worded problems. Alright, but before we do that, your starter is going back to rounding. We did that a couple of weeks ago. We're rounding to significant figures. Let's see who remembers what that is. And in case you can't read it, I'll read it for you. So round the following to 4 significant figures. A. 82.478, B 2.89427, and part C 281.2648. Round those to 4 significant figures. Remember the hint, a significant figure is an important number, and 0 becomes important, or it becomes significant, if it comes after a whole number. We haven't got any zeros here, so we don't need to worry too much about that. But let's see what we get. If you want to pause me for a sec, miss or sir, I'll go through the answers when you've unpaused me. Okay, so the first one you should have got 82.48, because the last 8 rounds the 7 up. So remember 4 significant figures, 4 numbers in your answer. 4 numbers in your answer. Part B, you should have got 2.894. 2.894. Because the 2 that comes after the 4 keeps the 4 the same, because it's less than 5. And for part C, you should have got 281.3, because the 6 that comes after the 2 means it rounds up by 1. Alright, so that was just a little starter, and the reason I tried to do a bit of that is because some of that rounding will come into play here. So, miss or sir, there are 2 examples written behind me, and I'd like you to get them to write these 2 examples in the book, because they'll be 2 fully worked examples, and they can refer back to it when they're doing the work in class, should they need to. You might not be able to read it. I don't know how good the camera is, so I'm going to read it out to you, and then we'll show you the working. So the first question says, pies cost 79p each, and a bag of chips cost £1.10. So let's assume we're going to the chippy. How much change from £10 will I get if I buy 3 pies and 2 bags of chips? Now, the reason that we look at worded questions is because what we've got to do is we've got to break this down. Alright, what's actually being asked here? And there's quite a bit. Well, how much change do I get from £10? So at some point we're going to have to do some subtracting, alright, which we did last lesson. And also we need to interpret the question, alright? We know the price of different things, but what it says is I buy 3 pies. Right, if 1 pie costs 79p, then we're working out, I'm going to do 79, 79, 79, because I'm getting 3 of them. So 9 add 9 is 27, carry the 2, again we did this the other lesson. 7 add 7, everyone's favourite number at the moment, 21. Add the 2 is 23. Alright, but this is where mistakes happen, because 3 pies are not going to cost you £237. No, they're not. We were talking in pence. So if we put our decimal back in, £2.37. Okay, £2.37. Bit of side working. 2 bags of chips. Chips cost £1.10p. So I'm getting 2 of those. So £1.10p, £1.10p. And I'm going to add that to my £2.37. So 7. 3 add 1 is 5. 2 add 1 is 4. So far we've spent £4.57, alright? So we're almost there, because that's how much everything costs. So if you're working behind a till, you've tilled it up, that's £4.57, please. So I'm going to leave that aside working so I don't forget. But the final bit says, well, the first bit, but it's the final bit of working, how much change do I get from £10? Well, remember what we did last time. When we're taking away, bigger number's got to go on the top or we're going to end up with a negative. But in this case, bigger number on top, £10. I've put my decimal in, because I'm going to need my decimal. I've also got £4.57. But you've got to put it in the right place because the decimals need to line up. So I'm going to put a 0 there just to make it really clear. And I'm taking away because I'm looking at the change I'm getting. And now this, some people may have found this hard yesterday, but hopefully not. But when we're working with zeros and we're borrowing, 0 take away 7 can't do. So we go all the way to the end. The 1 becomes 0, the next one becomes 10. That's not going to help. Cross that out, make it 9, the next one becomes 10. Still not going to help. Cross that out, it becomes 9, the last one becomes 10. Now we can do it. 10 take away 7, 3. 9 take away 5, 4. And 9 take away 4 is 5. And we don't need to worry about 0 take away 0. So my change that I'm expecting, £5.43. That's the question done, alright? If we reread the question, we're looking for how much change from £10 would I get. So there's the answer, £5.43. Okay. Feel free to just rewind that, go through it again if you need to, and copy out the example with the working out, please. Example 2 is probably a little bit harder to read because I've tried to squeeze it on in the bottom. But example 2 says, 10 calculators cost £8.50. How much would one calculator cost? So, we've bought 10 of something, alright? So if you think, if I wanted to buy 10 of something, I take the price of one and I times it by 10. So if I've got to think, right, well, I need to work backwards, I've got 10, I need to find the price of 1, I can then divide by 10. Now, this is something you may or may not be able to do. I would recommend not using a calculator because hopefully we know how to do this. But £8.50 divided by 10, if you remember, all the digits when you divide they move to the, well, let me think about this, to the right. And because it's 10, they move one place. So the 8 would move across the decimal, the 5 would move to where the 0 is, the 0 would move across. Point being, £8.50 divided by 10 is 0.85. Okay? So £8.50 divided by 10 is 0.85. Now if you need convincing of that, use a calculator to check, but really we need to be able to do this without a calculator. So please, please, please try without a calculator. But we're not done yet because we've not got units and we don't really know what we've done here. So I know now that I've found, divided by 10, I found the price of one calculator. I've got to put my units in. So one calculator costs 85 pence. Okay? So I did my working out and it's £0.85. So that would be one way of doing it, yeah, if we're talking in pounds, 0.85. Or if you wrote 85 pence, you wouldn't be marked down as long as you wrote the P for pence because that's your units. What you can't do is 0.85 pence, okay? Because that will mark you down, because that's saying it costs less than a penny to buy a calculator. Alright, I'll go through that a bit more when I'm in, if we need to, but make sure your units are on. So, what would I like you to do now is, you're going to take this book. This is the Unit 3 book. They're found just down there at the bottom in the drawers. You'll see this one, Unit 3. And you're going to turn to page 4 and 5. And you'll see there that there are 13 questions. Alright, 13 questions there and there. You don't need to write out the question. You do not need to write out the question. But what I do want to see is, of course, you got it, the working out. So please show me the working out. There's no point in just writing an answer, especially with a question like this, because this is where the GCSEs are going to now, much more worded. Can you interpret the questions, okay? So I need to see the working out. So good luck with that. Miss or sir, with 5-10 minutes, however long you think, if you could just stop, we'll mark what we've done, and if you pause me, then I can show you where the answers are. So if you pause me, I'll see you at the end of the lesson. So please pause. Okay, so we should have done, alright, we should have done exercise 1B there. So Miss or Sir, whoever's covering, if you turn to, where are we now? There we are. If we turn to page 184 in that book, so at the back, 184, you'll find exercise 1C, and please could you go through the answers and have the pupils mark with green pen and make corrections in green pen if they've made any mistakes. Okay, so thanks for that, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a good weekend. See ya.